gonna go under the bed frame. That all here with bolts that hold down the frame. Gonna go through here and bolt out to the bottom of the car. Now I went to my hardware store, bought a sheet of metal. I took a piece off of the actual body frame, the bed of the body. Alright, so like I was saying, I found the piece. This is basically the stock bed, the top of the bed liner, if you want to call it. She rotted out in the corner, so I brought a sheet, pretty decent size. I'm gonna cut out the rotted spots, weld this guy in there, show y'all where I'm at. That's the bed rails. It's basically this section here. It's going to just cut that out right along there, cut out up straight, cut out there, clean that up. Same plate, put it back down, cut where I cut at, tack welder, boom, 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 boom. And the same thing on that side. Cut out, once it's all cut out, weld up the bed frame, and then through the new hole. That hole right here, for the bolt to go through and lock this back up. Now I'm contemplating whether to do a door here for the actual fuel pump. Cut it out, put some put a hinge there, kind of like a door opener, gate right here for the fuel pump. Because on these bad boys, the tank, the gate covers, it covers right here. This is your fuel tank. So the fuel tank covers the bed rail, the bed frame, whatever, covers the tank. So I did it on my previous truck, made life easier. When the fuel pump went bad, I didn't have to drop the whole tank down. Basically just opened up right here, flipped this little tail up and got in there. Debating whether I'm gonna do that or not. It just makes it easier for replacement down the run. You don't have to take that tank out. Then again, it's not too bad. The bolts is what it is. Figure that out in a few. 50. Got the bed off. Shit rotted out the bed rails. So I went to Ford. I picked up the bolts and the bed rails. Lift this bitch up, take the bed rails off, weld them in, and then this shit right here, taburio. Just gonna cut it out. Brought sheet metal, weld it, put it up. So what I did, I labeled number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Then on my new ones, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, they kind of like look at it, but when you start cutting, you can lose track of it. So the way I do it is, I got it standing up, as you can see, like that. Put 2 tires under, so it won't scratch up my bed. Now, how I find their spot welds. So what I usually do is I just pull back on the rust. You'll see a break, get it there, and just grind this out right here, the circle. You can see the circle. You see that circle? That's a spot weld. So as soon as you spot that out, part come off. To make it easier, I can probably cut, kind of leave it like this. See this? Make it easier. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. So you see how it's rusty? As soon as you start lifting up, they kind of come up and it stays closed in where they welded at. So you see where they welded at? See how some are welded more than the other. This one's got like skipping kind of each spot. This one's more on it on each one. It's the fun part. See what I did now? I mapped out where I'm gonna cut at. So I'm just gonna cut this section out. And cut this section out. Then I'm gonna weld this flush with this. Weld this side, here, here. Make that plate. This plate's gonna be near to here, so I'm probably gonna just make this or rig this up some way, somehow. But yeah. Part of this shit is the cleanup. It's like the third power of rust. But we getting there. What we getting ready to do now. This right here, buddy of mine's let me use it. Now what this is gonna do is punch holes. So we need to spot weld those. And wasn't gonna spot weld like out here, but my buddy had this tool, so it came in handy. What this does, basically, I did one over here, but just to give you an example. Line her up like that. And then just squeeze the trigger. And then makes that hole. Now what that hole's for is line it up wherever you're gonna weld. Make sure it's nice and flush, and then you fill up the weld, the hole with the weld. Fill that up. On this truck, I noticed they did like either every other one or skip 2, and I'ma just spot weld each one. So we're gonna go to this side, lining this up. So it's not the original one. Line it up as close as possible where I think it should go, and then make marks on each side with my little pen here. Boom, boom. I'm gonna do every one. Once I do that, gonna weld her shut. Get the clamps back in here, put these back down, and then that part be done. Some more cleaning and then spray it down. I'm thinking of, before I weld this down, spray the center with some undercoat so it could get protected, and then kind of clean out the edges where our spot weld's gonna be. All right, so the game plan laid down. So I kind of cut this because this has a kind of a dip right here. So this part sits, I want to say, a couple centimeters lower than this. I don't feel like bending it, so I think if I cut it, just space it over here, and you know, spot weld it here, and then kind of weld them back, join it together. That'd be safe. So that's basically how it looks here. Like I said, I gotta cut this guy out. I got the sheet metal here, almost the same thick, identical to what we putting on the bed. Then I mark down all my spot that I'm gonna punch with the hole puncher here on all of them. And the same thing on this side over here. So I'm gonna cut here so that could stay there, this one go over here, and the same thing on this side. Cut here so this could go shift over here, weld that, drop that in, and spot weld. So I basically put a dot on each. This kind of go like a wave, sorta, on each high spots. That's where spot weld's gonna be. And once I got all that in there, there's a few spots that I'm gonna weld shut, grind them down, undercoat this bad boy, and then she's ready for start putting it back on. You gotta be very careful when you're welding. Kind of get these lined up with the holes, you see? Kind of off on this one a little bit. She's got to shoot up to the left. Not that much, but you'll see what I'm saying. What I tend to do is find something with that same kind of diameter, drop it in here and there. Maybe like a hammer or something like that, something that got that same diameter. drop it in there, and on the other side before you weld. Once you weld, you can't go back, and if this is off, to put those bolts in is going to be a bitch. So that's it.